What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to DSM pregame live, streaming to you guys exclusively on DSM Media's YouTube channel. I am 1/3 of the trio here tonight, Dylan Davis. You can find me on Twitter at DylanJD98. To my left, the host of Trending in the AM here on DSM, at Beard and Knowledge, my man Phil Stifle. And down below me, my co-host on Turf Talk on the Sixers pregame show, here on the Eagles pregame show, and the host of Scotty Talks NBA. Find him on Twitter as well, at Scotty Drown. And you can find everybody here over at Team DSM at DSM_media on Twitter. If you guys want to be interactive throughout tonight's show, hit us up in the comment section to get ready for this Eagles-Washington Commanders game. And Phil dropping the first comment of the night, and I want to start here with this. So the Eagles are looking to go 9-0 here on Monday Night Football at home. But Phil is saying Eagles got this, but let's not look past this game. And I know you've been talking about this for the last 10 days or so leading into this matchup. Why should fans and why should the Eagles not look past Taylor Heinicke and the Washington Commanders tonight and take this game more seriously than it appears right now?
All right, so there's a lot of aspects to it. First off, you say Tyler Heinicke, and it's spot on. He is not a great quarterback. He's not. Let's be honest. He is what he is. But what he is a guy that he's got a little Fitzmagic to him. He's kind of like another, Ryan Fitzpatrick type guy. He has a lot of the similar traits that Jalen Hurts has off the field. He's a leader. He's a motivator, intangibles type guy. The players want to play for him. And, I think I said it before this season started. Jalen Hurts was going to lead this team to at least what they did last year, if not better. Even if he got no better as a quarterback, he was going to do it solely because of the intangibles off the field. And that's what Taylor Heinicke does. He brings those intangibles. He is not a good quarterback, but he leads the team. And the other aspect of it, and I went on Trending in the AM, do you guys realize the last 5 games for the Washington Commanders combined, okay, the plus-minus score-wise is 1. They're 3-2 in their last 5. You add up how many they've won and lost by. It's 1 run, 1 goal, 1 goal, 1 run. What? 1 point. I don't even know what sport I'm talking about. They've only given up over 25 points 1 time this year. This is a team that's a knockdown, drag-it-out kind of team. And outside of their game against Detroit when they gave up 30-plus points, it's all been close games and all low-scoring games. So all those things combined, the Heinicke magic and the fact that they're a knockdown, drag-it-out type team, look, the Eagles will win, but you got to be realistic. This is not going to be a 28-14 game, a 35-10 game. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight today.
I want to start right there with Taylor Heinicke, as you're pointing out. And while you were speaking, my head was down because I was looking for the numbers that I saw earlier, and I can't find it. But Taylor Heinicke, under pressure versus a clean pocket, the numbers, the percentage is staggering. His numbers again with a clean pocket, his completion percentage or QBR, whatever it was, is in the high 60s, low 70s. I believe it was his completion percentage. Against the blitz, under pressure, he is at like 20%, somewhere around there, maybe a little bit higher. I could be skewing up those numbers, and you can go back to the first meeting in week 3 in Washington. What did the Eagles accomplish against Carson Wentz in that line? Double-digit sacks. Right now, you got a little bit different of a situation here. No Wentz, it's Heinicke tonight, but that's where I'm really looking for this Eagles defense to take over tonight, and it's in the trenches.
But you got to remember, this is Taylor Heinicke. It's not Carson Wentz. You're not going to sack him 9 times. He might not have a great
I know that.
He doesn't have the completion percentage against the blitz, but you can't just he's not a statue like Carson Wentz. I mean, literally, you could touch Carson Wentz and he will fall over at this point of his career. It's a shame. Yes, it is wine with a white jersey on too. Red wine with a white jersey. That's real dangerous right there, Pino.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, yes, the Eagles are not going to get after Taylor Heinicke double-digit times and sack him 9+ times like they did against Wentz in week 3. But I think that is the key in how to not let that underdog, how to not let that less talented, offense, that lesser talented team find a way to stick around. If these are what the numbers tell you, I guess I'm putting it a lot on Jonathan Gannon. I'm not relying just should the 4-man front work. Yeah, I'm looking for Fletcher Cox and this Eagles defensive line to show out tonight. But I'm looking for Jonathan Gannon to apply pressure on the lesser talented Taylor Heineke and this Washington Commanders offense. Scotty, what are you looking for specifically against Heineke tonight?
Yeah, I mean, as far as Taylor Heineke, it's kind of like Phil said. He's a gamer. He does a lot of intangibles, right? Some things that can win you football games, things in the clutch moments, right? He can get dirty sometimes, I guess you could say. But overall, I you don't have to do too much different from like a regular. He's not a good quarterback at the end of the day. I look at him in the similar light to like a Cooper Rush for the Dallas Cowboys. You limit him, you stay disciplined, you play your game, your team is better than the Washington Commanders. That's how I look at this entire game, quite honestly. I look at this as an opportunity for the Eagles to go on national television. They're 8-0. I get it. There's pressure that comes along with that undefeated record. This Washington Commanders is just not a good football team. They played better with Taylor Heineke. Still just not a good football team. It's not like it is translated to a winning record in a sense. I get the plus and minus, but the Eagles are a different football team from any other team in the rest of the NFL, right? We have them at the top of our power rankings for a reason. So tonight they come out, they prove why they are at the top of the power rankings, and I think they spanked the Commanders, honestly. I have the nerves. I'm with you, but it's more of a national sense. It's more of a on Monday Night Football, just that privilege of getting to play in front of everybody. But I look at this as an ultimate opportunity. There is the trap game factor. I'm not taking that away from what Phil is saying at all. And I'm not even disagreeing in a sense. I'm not disagreeing with you in a sense because the Commanders have played much better with Heineke. I just think the Eagles still have not touched their ceiling as far as what they can really do. And let's be honest, that game against the Texans, it wasn't the prettiest. It wasn't the best way the Eagles could have won. So I think that also leaves some food on the table from the last game, a little bit more motivation on national television again. But to Phil's point, I don't want it to see. I can think with this mindset, the Eagles cannot, right? They cannot take this team lightly.
And I don't think they do it. And I love your point, Scotty, because to me, almost look for this team to make a statement. You know that Nick Sirianni, you know that this team hears and sees kind of all the little inklings throughout the week in social media and nationally, right? And when you're looking around the league and you see what happens with Dallas and Green Bay and you see what happens with Minnesota and Buffalo and there's all this talks of strength of schedule, look for the Eagles to come out and make a statement tonight. The 12-point win, although it covered the spread, was not enough for a lot of people nationally for the Eagles last week. Look for them to put on a Viking-esque, week 2-esque performance tonight is what I'm looking for as well. At the end of the day, a win will be a win. If the Eagles have to kick a field goal with 2 seconds left to win the game, I will walk away from it happy, and they're 9-0. But I'm looking for this team to take not the criticism, because not the three of us aren't criticizing them, but take kind of what people are saying about their schedule, about this division opponent, and kind of put your foot on their throat from the opening jump. And it's something that Fletcher Cox talked about before the game in one of his interviews.
So I want to bring up Drab's comment here, and I think it's spot on. This team is very humble, and it starts with Jalen Hurts keeping this team humble.
Absolutely.
But on the flip side of the equation, once the switch, once the switch happened in Washington from Wentz to Heineke, he's doing this. I mean, they were 1-4, and they went off on a 3-game winning streak. They lost last week. He's got them also in that. Look, every game, it's just the next game mentality, one game at a time, never give up. I'm not trying to say and be negative here at all. I got the negativity out last night. Today, it's all positivity. But I just don't want fans to look past it. If this game is at halftime and it's 17-14, it's not the end of the world. It's a division
That is fair.
A division rival in the NFC East. I mean, those games are close most times. It's on Monday Night Football. All eyes in the country are on this game. Both teams are going to come out with their best foot forward. So let's just, be realistic that this, it could be, like you said, Scotty, a blowout, but don't be freaking out and overreacting.
Yeah, that's a great point.
You know what I mean? Because
that's a great point.
A lot could happen tonight.
So, Phil, to your point, how important is a quick start tonight for the Eagles? Fletcher Cox was just talking about it on ESPN in an interview, specifically on the defensive side, saying, listen, we need a quick start. And I don't even mean getting off the field with no points. He goes, I want a 3-and-out in the first drive. And you can go back to the Texans game last Thursday. It feels like it's been an eternity since we watched Eagles football. But you go back to that game. Obviously, the Eagles come away with a double-digit victory, but they gave up 7 on the first drive. Starting quick, and especially against these lesser talented opponents. I talk about it all the time when it comes to the Sixers, when it comes to the Phillies, do not let this team hang around into the second half, late into the third quarter. And a way by doing that is putting your foot on their throat early on. How important is a quick start from the team tonight?
It's massive. I mean, what was the last game when we played the Washington? Was it like 28-0 or 24-0 before?
It was insane.
Look, the Texans game last week, everybody wants to talk about that, but the numbers speak for themselves. Road teams on Thursday Night Football, it's a struggle to win. They were double-digit favorites. They covered. I don't even think they did cover. I think it was a 13 or 14-point line, at least at one point it was. So they might not have covered last week.
You could be correct. It might have been 13.
Yeah, I think they didn't cover by 1 or 2 points. But anyway, the point is, this is different. This is your division. This is Monday Night Football, not Thursday Night Football. That
not Amazon Prime.
Tuned into. You got to come out fast, and this would almost be the perfect moment for the Eagles not to defer to the second half. They have deferred, I think, every single kickoff. They've won every coin flip, and they've deferred every single one. They win the kickoff tonight, I'd be receiving the ball. Get that offense on the field. Make that statement right away. Because if you let Washington score early like Houston did, this is not the Houston Texans. Washington is a better team than Houston. You give them any bit of confidence right out of the gate, you're in trouble.
So, real quick, Scotty, I want to get to these 2 points here. We got the DB talk and we got the D-line talk against the run. And I say that for this. No Jordan Davis still, obviously. The Eagles, as of like 2 hours ago, put Avonte Maddox on the injured list. So he is out for a minimum of 4 games. Slot corner, middle of your defensive line. Damian Pierce and the Texans ran up and down the field on this Eagles defense. It was one of the negatives you could take away from that game last Thursday. Yeah. I know we're talking a lot of defense, but the bottom line is the Commanders average just over 17 points per game on offense, and the Eagles average just under 17 points given up on defense. So that 17-point line is kind of right around a key to success here tonight. Obviously, you can let them get a little bit higher, but how do the Eagles kind of limit the big playability against the run and limit the big play in the slot?
Well, honestly, the Washington Commanders don't run the football, so that's kind of the biggest thing for me. They don't run the football, and if you don't run the football, I'm not 100% sure that if you decide to tonight that you're going to be good at it against the Eagles. Damian Pierce, that dude is a stud, right? He's a really good running back. They obviously have gotten him going this season. And we have had some issues against the run in recent weeks, especially. But against this Washington Commanders team, it's like Gibson, in my eyes, is their best running back. They don't even start him most of the time. They don't use him as often as they should. He was effective against the Eagles in that first game when they did use him. I will give them that.
Yeah, the 5 times they gave him the ball.
But the 5 times they gave him the ball, I think he was the only one that scored for him. He had like over 30 yards, but just doesn't get the ball enough. Brian Robinson's solid. It just doesn't break me as a guy that's going to kill us tonight. The slot receiver, the slot corner is what I worry about most. Obviously, Avonte Maddox, he's a guy that over the last few years, at least the last 2 years, last year and this year included, has been renowned as one of the better slot corners in the NFL. So I am interested to see what that looks like without him. I know Phil talked about that on Trending. Josiah Scott, I mentioned CGJ, but I get not wanting to move CGJ from safety. I get that part. So you have to choose wisely there, but you do have to ultimately watch out for whether they put Curtis Samuel in that slot or Jahan Dotson. Both of those guys can burn you. So they do have to be careful with that for sure.
All right, so we've talked defense for the first half of the show. Let's switch over to the offensive side of things. And is it kind of just because we're accustomed to this offense putting up points? They're averaging 28 points per game this season. Jalen Hurts continues to progress as a passer and look great. Dallas Goedert had a big game last week. The running game's getting going and getting better week in and week out. What should we be looking for tonight? Phil, I'll throw this one to you first. Excuse me. Are you looking for a Jalen Hurts Monday Night Football performance like he got against Minnesota? Are you looking for Nick Sirianni to attack Washington on the ground and let Hurts pick his spot? What should be the game plan tonight? Who kind of balls out tonight?
So it's weird because I talked about this morning. I am looking at not Jalen Hurts or Miles Sanders or Dallas Goedert or A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith. I'm looking at that offensive line.
Fair.
You've got a defensive front of Washington that gets after the quarterback. We have struggled protecting in pass protection. And let's be Jalen Hurts has gotten knocked down a lot this year.
Yeah.
I want to see the offensive line, and you protect Jalen Hurts, but you do that by having a game plan. You mentioned Nick Sirianni. Run the football first, pass second, set up the play action, do those kinds of things. If you can show that you can keep Jalen Hurts upright and not running for his life, then you can pick apart the team with the plays to Devontae Smith down the field, AJ Brown. You could do that afterwards, but you got to show that you can protect Jalen Hurts. If you can't protect him, then it's a problem. It'll become a real problem real quick. Chase Young, have they said whether he's playing or not?
No, they have not activated him now.
They have not activated. I know this morning it was still up in the air. But still, even without Chase Young, they have been one of the top sack teams this year in the league. They get after the quarterback. So that is my concern, but also the way you game plan is you protect Hurts the right way, then the offense should have no problem moving the ball.
So, Scotty, Phil's going with the offensive line. What are you looking for tonight offensively?
No, I'm with Phil in the sense of running the football. I think you're going to have to do that. And you look at the numbers from the previous time that they actually played the Commanders, and it looks by the numbers that they kind of abandoned the run. I don't know if you would call that abandoning the run or you were just being so dominant on the passing game. But obviously Jalen Hurts had a hell of a day passing the football with 340 yards. He had 3 touchdowns that day. Smitty had a day. AJ had a day. So it's interesting to see how that played out the first time. I do think at the end of the day, it's one of my keys to victory here. Identity. This is a game you lay your identity on the line tonight, and impose your will the way that you know best, right? And that's running the football. That starts up front, like Phil said, with the offensive line, but then also Jalen Hurts, these running backs making the right decisions, right? They run a lot of RPO that comes with decision making each and every play. You got to make the right decisions, the right reads, and get this running game going, right? We want to showcase that on Monday Night Football. And I just want to see them come out, show their identity, right? Live through that, impose your will. And then from there, you can kind of do what you want. Once that run game gets going, you have the defense on their heels, and you can really do what you want with that defense. So I'm with Phil there. I would love to see them start the game by pounding the rock down their throat. One of those long, grueling, like the Texans last week or last Thursday, except on the first possession. I would like to see that without 7 on the board already.
It's almost like they struggle to pass protect because that's what they want to be. That's what they want their identity to be. But then it struggles, so then they go to the run, and that then opens the pass.
Don't let that happen.
Just start with the run.
Right.
Just go right.
Because think about what opens up in the passing game if you start running the ball down a team's throat. If that makes sense. Think about what can happen with the RPO game and the play action and so on and so forth there. I'm looking at Jalen Hurts, but in a different light tonight. Nothing that he's going to do on the field because I think he's going to continue to ball out. You don't, like Scotty said, you don't throw for almost 350 and 3 touchdowns and blow this team out on their turf a couple weeks ago and then come out at home and kind of lay an egg tonight. I'm looking at those intangibles you talked about before, Phil, that leadership ability. But I'm looking at it from him and I'm looking at it from this coaching staff. I brought up Jonathan Gannon in the beginning of the show, meaning here's the numbers. You know what he does and doesn't do well. Stay focused and do what the numbers are telling you, right? Same thing with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts and this coaching staff, but in a sense of keeping this team up and keeping this team moving forward. We came out of the bye week with Pittsburgh at home. And what did we talk about on the pregame show, Phil? The coaching staff, having them ready, undefeated, coming out of the bye, being up for the game. Then you had a short week on the road, but against the worst team in football, having them ready, keeping them up. Now you haven't played in a century, and your big favorites again, having them ready, having the energy high, and showing that leadership on the field tonight. I really do believe in Scott. Not that necessarily this is going to be a blowout, Mike Vick, Deshaun Jackson, Monday Night Massacre game again. But I do think that the talent differential is just too big that as long as they show up and they're motivated to play tonight, which they will be in front of the link on primetime football, that the Eagles will find success offensively. But I love the point of establish the run first, because also that is your identity. That's what the Eagles are great at. Not a lot of teams know what they're good at and can establish what they're good at.
Exactly.
Start with that and then open up the RPO, open up the play action, move in the pocket with Jalen. Think about what opens up in the middle of the field on the second, third drive of the game if Miles and Jalen are gashing them with their legs on the first possession of the game. Let's get into who stands out tonight. Scotty, I'll throw it to you first. Let's start on the defensive side of the ball. Who is your player of the game for the Eagles defensively to lead them to a victory tonight?
So the guy that I'm watching tonight, it was one of our latest acquisitions. It's Robert Quinn.
Okay.
I'm looking for him to make his mark on national television, right? Probably the last couple of weeks, he's been getting those double teams just how he was in Chicago. So hopefully it balances out a little bit. He gets some one-on-one opportunities tonight, make his mark on this Eagles team. Every single week, we've seen a new guy kind of make their mark with this team, really prove why Howie Roseman brought this guy in. Not to say that Robert Quinn hasn't done that just by being a decoy in a sense, but let's go ahead and make our mark tonight. I'm predicting a strip sack for Robert Quinn. I think he comes out motivated. National television, he's back. He gets another sack this season. Maybe a strip sack. I would like that.
Love it, Phil.
So in one of my parlays, which we'll get to in a bit, I have Tyler Heineke 1+ interception.
Where are you going? You stealing mine?
I don't know. Am I? I'm going to Darius Slay because Terry McLaurin is still, he is one of the most underrated. We talk about Curtis Samuel or Dotson.
Yeah.
Terry McLaurin is still one of the, I know we shut him down for 3 quarters the last time we played them, but he did get a couple catches late in the game. Yeah, in garbage time, whatever. I need Darius Slay. Stop letting Chauncey Gardner-Johnson get all the interceptions.
Right.
For Darius Slay to step back up, big play. I'm not saying a pick 6 or anything like that, but he will be the guy. Football, man. He will be the guy that gets the interception for the Eagles defense tonight.
Heineke loves Terry McLaurin too. There's a connection there, so he will throw it there blindly.
Yo, you guys are picking that right exactly what I was going to say. All my points. I agree with Phil. I'm going with Darius Slay tonight. I'm not changing my pick. He loves Monday Night Football. If you watched that game with Justin Jefferson yesterday against one of the league's best defenses in Buffalo on the road, and it just makes Darius Slay's performance against him in week 2 that much more impressive. We know how talented this dude was. I know some people tried to argue if he was not top 5 still, Scotty, before the year started. He might be the best corner in all the National Football League right now. Teams don't throw at him. And I'm picking him for what you just said, Scotty. Teams are not throwing at him. Taylor Heineke,
he don't care.
He's going to throw at him blindly. Do not care. I'm force feeding Terry. He will throw Darius Slay's way tonight, and I'm looking for Darius Slay, big play Slay, to make him pay.
I like it.
That rhymed, right? Yeah, that rhymed. I like that.
Yeah. I see a strong chance that there's more than one interception on this defense.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
They're not going to want Heineke to get sacked 9 times. So there's going to be a lot of quicker plays, a lot of rollouts, a lot of opportunities for him not to get sacked. So it's going to come into the interceptions. It's just going to happen.
Do I smell a Kaiser White deflection or interception over the middle tonight?
It's good. Casey had him in the graphic today, so maybe, man.
You never know. All right, offensively, Phil, I'll throw this one to you first. Who stands out tonight on offense for the Eagles?
I mean, obviously, the correct answer should be Jalen Hurts, but I'm going to say it's the birthday boy, Devontae Smith.
He's a fan favorite today, man.
And the first touchdown of the game will be to Devontae Smith. I don't know if I'm going to bet a first-time touchdown. I don't think I've ever hit that bet ever in my life.
I have not.
I might go throw it because they're going to want to get the birthday boy involved early and often, and they're going to get him the ball in the end zone pretty quickly.
See, I love the pick and the way that he torched their secondary back in week 3. The fact that it is his birthday. He scored 2 touchdowns in Denver on his birthday last year.
I didn't even know that.
But man, I don't like riding with the public in a lot of situations. And I know that's crazy because the public's like 88% on the Eagles tonight, so that should make me worried. But there's just so many talks, and I've seen so many bet slips of Devontae Smith touchdowns tonight on Twitter. I'm staying away. I have him in a free bet parlay to score, but I'm staying away from it. Scotty, I know you got the jersey on. Is that where you're going?
Yeah, that's where I'm going, man. In this offense, right? You look at this offense week to week. You just got to look for reasons, right? If you're going to try to make predictions on who's going to go off in this offense, I just need a reason, right? I'm looking at the rest of these guys week to week. You can pick your poison between Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert, whoever, Quez, Pascal had a touchdown a couple weeks ago. I'm going with Smitty because of what Phil said. I feel they're going to scheme Smitty into good spots. It almost feels like in certain situations, especially when they get down in the red zone, they scheme guys who they want to score touchdowns. That's exactly what it looks like the Eagles do. And I think on his birthday, they're going to give him a few targets once they get in that red zone just to see if they can get him in the end zone. And I trust Smitty to grab one of them and bring it down. So I am going with Smitty just because there's a reason. Like, other than that, it's completely random, I feel. It's up to the coaches how they scheme it each and every week, and we're just never going to know that. But I'm going with Smitty. He's a birthday boy. He went off against the Washington Commanders. And on top of that, it's been a while since we saw him heavily involved in the game plan. Probably that Cardinals game, right? Where he was just screen after screen. We really have not seen him involved that much since then. So more of just, haven't seen you in a while. It's your birthday. Let's get it going tonight.
Did you guys see the clip of it might have been the Pittsburgh game where Jalen Smitty was wide open for a touchdown. He threw one to AJ. AJ still got in the end zone, and he went over on the sideline to Smitty and was like, he was mic'd up and apologized. He's like, I got you next time, because he missed him underneath wide open. So he apologized to him. Listen, I agree with you guys. I don't love that there's so much attention on it tonight. It just feels like a three catch for 42-yard performance or something from him. But we'll see how they go. I don't know which direction I want to go.
I'm good.
I don't know which direction I want to go. Do I want to go in the air, or do I want to go on the ground? Part of me wants to lean Miles Sanders simply because there is a better out there who needs 110 plus rushing yards to win 135K tonight.
Do you guys take that cash out, by the way? They offered
I think I did.
100 and yeah.
What was the cash out, like 29K?
21,700 was the cash out they offered him.
Dude, I think I would vomit if he ended up going for 110 plus.
Yeah, but I mean, you would vomit.
But it's
if
still
he
what?
get
Like, it wasn't it like a $50 bet or something? Like
$10 bet.
$10 for 22K essentially. Like, I think I'm taking. Dude,
I would take 22K and then put 10K on the game tonight.
Yes.
So that you're edging to get some of you still turn a profit. I figured
that
out
is exactly what I would do.
I forget the exact number, but as long as if he bet 10,000 tonight on Miles Sanders over 110 yards, which was plus 510, that he would still, even if it missed, he would still after taxes turn a $5,000 profit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I almost wonder if I would do that, but just put 10K on his over. Whatever is, forget the 110, like just take, I don't know what it's over, 65.5 or something, like throw it on there. But yeah. I'm going to go in the air. I'm going to go with AJ Brown because, he really hasn't had his coming out party nationally for Philadelphia, right? He's got the 3 touchdown, 150-yard game against Pittsburgh on a Sunday afternoon. He had the week 1 performance in Detroit on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah, he scored last week on Thursday Night Football on Prime, but he only went for like 50, 60 receiving yards in that catch. I think A.J. Brown absolutely dominates Washington's secondary tonight. And I think, to your point, Phil, about the offensive line and Washington's pass rush, that Sirianni and the Eagles look to get the ball out of Jalen's hands quick. A lot of quick hitters, a lot of outs, a lot of slants over the middle to his best friend, A.J. Brown. And I think that he finds the end zone tonight. And as crazy as it sounds, because he's not even in any of my parlays to score, but that's kind of what I'm thinking as we lead into kickoff here tonight. All right, boys, before we get to our game predictions, even though I think everyone in the comments knows where we're leaning here, we do have some plays to give out. I'll let this one out first. Scotty may know this. I told Phil before the show, I'm all over a Quez anytime tutty. I don't know why. I did it week 2, Monday Night Football against the Vikings. It cashed. He's plus 800 anytime touchdown score by itself for Quez Watkins. I put that in. And then my small play is this. I just have Jalen Hurts 200 plus passing yards, Miles Sanders over 54.5 rushing yards, Dallas Goedert over 29.5 receiving yards, and I'm doubling down, Phil. A Quez Watkins anytime touchdown boosted to plus 2,375 odds on DraftKings. Those are my plays.
No, Abe's on the train.
This is my point, bro. I want it to happen, but there's a lot. Oh God, it keeps going in and out.
I know. This is my fault. I was clicking it too.
Oh man, I think as soon as the show is over, because I got logged out of DraftKings. I can't even make a bet right now while the show's going on. I don't know. It's telling me I'm not in a gambling state anymore. I don't know.
Oh,
I hate when location services. It was fine and now it's not. Whatever.
That is
But he's
the
11.
worst.
He's 11-1 to be first touchdown score of the
Who?
game. Smitty,
Huh.
11-1 first touchdown. I'm laying that as soon as we get. I was done betting, but I'm laying that as soon as we get off the air here.
All right.
All right. But my safe bet, my safe parlay, I got Eagles money line, Heineke 1 interception,
There's
plus,
Phil's prediction.
and Devontae Smith touchdown. It's boosted to 425.
I'm surprised that's not higher, man. Honestly,
It was actually only 370, and then I got the boost on that. I want to give you guys. I want you to tell me that there's a chance for this 10-leg parlay to hit, guys.
Listen it off.
Plus 1,500. It got boosted to plus 3,000 with the extra boost. Eagles money line.
Mm-hmm.
Hurts 2+ touchdown passes. Hurts over 224.5 passing yards. Devontae Smith 5+ catches and over 59 yards receiving. AJ Brown 5+ catches over 59 yards receiving. Dallas Goedert 4 catches over 29 yards.
Sheesh.
And finally, Miles Sanders over 64 yards rushing. All bare minimum numbers.
Yeah, man.
But that's a lot of things to hit.
I will tell you this.
Which one wouldn't hit if you had to pick one there?
It's going to be one of the receptions, I feel like.
I'm going to go with Smitty 5
catches, you know?
I'll say this, though. It has a very good shot of hitting unless Nick does what we said on the show, and that is run the ball. Like, this could be a 3 running back touchdown kind of night. Jalen doesn't throw for any. I don't know what happens.
It's
So
funny
I
you say that.
I kind of made that after looking at all the passing that Jalen Hurts did the last time with Washington. That was kind of my, like, it's just going to be a repeat. But, yeah.
And
maybe I like it, man.
Maybe the Eagles see that. Maybe that's what they do. I mean, we don't know, right? That could be their mindset when they come
here
into
and
this
we're not
game.
in the stadium tonight. You know?
Yeah. Scotty, what do you got?
So it's funny you said the 3 running back thing because I did lay just anytime touchdown Kenny Gainwell, man. It was at plus 430. You got one last game against the Texans, so maybe they keep that trend.
I think Trey Sermon was like plus 950 to score tonight.
Hey, you never know, man. You never know.
Not like Trey Sermon anytime touchdown. He is inactive tonight.
Oh, okay. Okay, so then you do know.
Oh, come at me. Come at DraftKings then. What's he even listening for?
Know that.
I don't know why he's listening, but he is inactive tonight.
Man, and I took this boost on FanDuel. I sent it to all of you guys at DSM, but the 25 yards for Devontae Smith, 20 points for Paul George, plus 100. That was like a no-brainer for me.
That's on FanDuel, right?
Yeah, that's on FanDuel. FanDuel. My play of the night, I would say, is actually going to be Eagles money line. Over 43.5. I know, Phil, I know you don't like that. That is my play tonight, and you'll see by my score why I feel that way. I got Philly money line over 43.5 total for the 2 teams here for the game, and then I have Goddard 29.5 plus receiving yards. That comes out to plus 207. So that is my play of the night. My favorite play, though, I will say, is plus 258. It's a Hurts touchdown anytime. Philadelphia over 19.5 points, so 20 points or above. And Hurts 200 plus passing yards. That comes out to plus 258. That's one of my favorite plays tonight. It's been a while since Hurts has actually used his legs to get into the end zone. I don't think that they'll force it. I just am counting on the fact that they will get to the goal line situation.
I've been staying away from the rushing yards as well, man. Early on in the
year,
it felt like 40 plus rushing yards was a lock, and there's been a lot of weeks. And listen, that's what we wanted, though, right? Like, we like the legs, we like the rushing, but the fact
it as
that
an emergency.
Having 20 rushing yards or less in games and having these great passing nights is telling you one thing: he's hanging around in the pocket, he's delivering the ball from the pocket, and he's not trying to just escape and use his athleticism. So
I got one more for you.
Oh yeah,
Before we move on. Plus 280, Devontae Smith touchdown. I had to put this one out there because we've been boasting him up, me and Phil. So I got a Smitty touchdown and Smitty 40+ receiving yards, comes out to plus 280. So that's one of my favorite ones tonight as well.
I like it, man. I like it. So Phil and Scotty, you both have Philly money line in your parlays. But I'll throw it back to Phil. Who wins tonight? Duh. And kind of just give me the game script. What happens tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles win tonight, obviously. But it's going to be a lower scoring game. I was thinking, when I predict the score, I always write down like 5 or 6 ideas, and then I kind of pick. And I did that this morning, and I settled on 24-17. And Scotty almost convinced me to switch it tonight and up it a little bit. But I'm going to roll with it, 24-17. Yeah. It's going to be a close game. And it's establish that run, protect Jalen Hurts, and get after Tyler Heineke. Let him throw those interceptions. It's literally check box 1, check box 2, check box 3. And hell, if they check all 3 boxes, it might be a much bigger blowout than that. But again, Washington is a game team, like we said at the opening of the show. They are going to fight. So I don't know if they necessarily check all the boxes at the same time. So that's why I've got it close. I almost went to 24-20, but 24-17. That's what's going to be. Late field goal to get it to 24 points by the Eagles to stretch it to 7, by the way.
Scotty, I'm going to let you be the tiebreaker here. Phil's got a close game, and I know where you're leaning, I think. I just feel like this team is different, man. And I'm looking around at all.
Washington win?
What? I'm looking around the league, and I'm watching all the inconsistency week to week and the bad quarterback play and the no identities from these Super Bowl contenders. And I think this team separates themselves tonight on the national stage. I think Philly hangs 30+. I think they hang 31 to 33 points on Washington tonight. I think Jalen Hurts balls out. Look for some big plays. Kind of like, I know I'm really hoping here with the Quez down the seam, right? Like against Minnesota, but look for a play like that early in the first half for a big play touchdown. Look for the defense to really kind of just shut down Taylor Heineke, shut down this noise of this dude can hang with us, this dude can play with us. Phil has Darius Slay for a pick. Like he said, I wouldn't be surprised if there was 2 interceptions and a strip sack or something like that tonight. I'm going to go Eagles 31, Washington. I like the 17 or 20, somewhere around there. It's what they score. It's what the Eagles hold opponents to. I don't really think that changes tonight. I'll give them 3 extra points. I'll go 31-20, Eagles win.
And it's funny, man. It's funny. I actually had them 31-14, so I took away 3.
But I'm going to go with a late touchdown by Washington to get to the 20, not only an 11-point game.
Scotty, that 31-14, that's not giving you much room on the over 43.
Oh, I know. It's 45. 45.
You're not giving yourself much cushion there, my man.
Not at all. Not at all.
Like that Dallas game yesterday where we both had the over, and we had it clinched it in like 3 minutes into the game. It felt like the over.
I'm relying on the Birds eclipsing that 30-point mark. That would only be the second time the 30-point mark has been eclipsed against the Washington defense this season. The only other time was against the Detroit Lions. But I think we can score up there with the Detroit Lions. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, I'm banking on the 30+ because I do think we're going to get some turnovers, and I think one of those interceptions could honestly be a pick 6 in prime time. Also, the main thing I want to say tonight, it's probably something I missed. Home field advantage, right? They're in Philly tonight. And I think that's one thing as well that gives me an extra boat of confidence that they won't come out there unmotivated in front of this Philly crowd tonight. Operate by those. I had an acronym prepared for tonight. It's DIT. If that's a word, I don't know. It's DIT. Discipline, identity, and turnovers. Discipline against Taylor Heineke on the defensive end. That's what it's going to come down to, right? Discipline in a penalty standpoint. You can't come out there and shoot yourself in the foot. Identity, run the football, do what you know best, do what you know wins. And turnovers. Get the turnovers, win the turnover battle, just like you've been doing all season. That's what the Eagles have been the best at.
It's what we do here at DSM, man. We do something major.
Acronyms, baby.
We set the trend and we create new words here live on the air.
Dit.
I've never been involved in a new word being created.
Tweet it out. Tweet it out, Scotty. Tell people what has to happen tonight. The Eagles got the Sixers have to show grit, and the Eagles have to show dit tonight. Okay. Oh,
That's a weird word. If it's a word, that's weird.
Will Joel Embiid show dit on Friday night?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was one more thing I was going to point out.
It is a word. It is a word. It's another term for dot. So Jalen Hurts got to throw some dits tonight.
Hold on. What did you just say?
It's another word for dot.
No, it's not.
That's what it says on the
no, it's not.
Listen.
That's news to me. That's news to me.
I swear I looked it up on Google. It says another term for dot in Morse code. Excuse me.
I did not believe him. Yeah, I didn't believe him, so I had to.
Yeah, there's only one dithead on the show, eh? This is a dithead. It's one dithead right here. Yeah, that was one last thing I wanted to point out, though. We're talking leadership with Jalen Hurts, and it's almost like, you know how we say, like, that people that these players, that these coaches hear and listen to social media and what's being said about them. It's almost like what the Eagles have done and what Jalen Hurts says in post-game stuff that the rest of the city hears. Did you guys catch Joel Embiid's post-game on the court last night? And they asked him what he thought about his historic performance, and his first thing was that he missed too many free throws. It's almost, I left too much food on the table. That kind of leadership, that kind of energy.
Good. He should take those nods from Hurts, man. Take that leadership capabilities, those quotes. He needs them.
But with all that dit said, guys, that is going to wrap up the DSM pregame live here, Eagles Washington edition. And DSM Media is proudly brought to you by our friends over at Gents Barber Lounge. Check out one of two great locations in Fishtown and Old City and book your appointment today. Gents owns the craft, and it shows. Rated the #1 barbershop on Yelp in the Philadelphia area, having multiple award-winning barbers and being able to handle any style of cut, adult or kid. Take a look at some of Gents' work. Again, you can find them at www.gentsbarberlounge.com to book your appointment today. Guys, you can find all of our content over at DSM_media on Twitter. We still are running the major YouTube giveaway. So if you guys want to hit one of those tiers, head on over to our pinned tweet, click the link, subscribe to DSM Media on YouTube, comment #DSM on the video. We are up a small tick, but if you guys want to win the Bryce Harper World Series Pet Jersey, we have to reach 800 YouTube subscribers. Send it to your friends, family, whatever you got to do. We greatly appreciate it. For myself, for Phil, for Scotty, for DSM, have a great night. Enjoy the game and go Birds.
Go Birds.